Good morning and welcome to the fifth quarter AZ. My name is Danny Neal, and I'm just happy to be here with you this morning. Nice sunny morning in Flagstaff, Arizona. Looks like spring may be here. But before we get started, I got to bring on my co-host. I know Spring's here because he got his sunny face here and just smiling and ready to go this morning. And I want to welcome the coach of NAU softball, the man that took him to the Worlds last year. The man is doing big things all over the place. My friend, my guy, Mr. Tommy Hernandez. How you doing, man?
Good, Coach. How you doing?
Man, I am doing good. I am doing good. Thank you for stepping in for Coach Johnson today.
Uh,
Whether it's sports, whether it's fifth quarter, you always here to step in the pinch hit, man.
Oh man,
we
I'm always ready
appreciate
to
you.
come off the bench and get in the
Uh,
game.
you ain't never came off the bench. You always been a starter. You ain't never came. You might have pitched hit every now and then, but I don't think you saw too much bench life.
Oh man, yeah. So
So what's going on? How's the softball team doing, man?
doing good. We had a great weekend. We swept GCU last weekend. Actually, just broke this morning. We're now ranked in the top 20 in the nation. We're number 20. So
That's
we're
all right.
we're 12-0, and we finally play at home this Saturday.
Oh,
So
you're undefeated. Yeah, who do you
yeah,
play this Saturday?
we play UC Irvine at Coconino at 9:30, 11:30, and 2 on Saturday. And then Sunday we go down to the Valley. We play UCLA Club at Mesa Community College. So we have a big weekend ahead of us. This is our final push to make it into the postseason. So hopefully we're in regionals in a couple of weeks.
Right. So you're playing a 3-game series tomorrow?
Yeah, 3 games tomorrow, 3 games Sunday. So we have a
Really?
see if I make it to work Monday.
And how many pitchers do you have for those 6 games?
I have two main pitchers, but I have about four pitchers that I'll probably use this weekend. Um, so I have one. I've mentioned her before. Grace Jump. She's up there in the nation on strikeouts. She has 29, and Berdina Riggs are two main pitchers. So they're both killing it. Actually, Grace was the pitcher of the NCSA pitcher of the week, and Berdina was the NCSA player of the week last week. So
Oh man, well that's
they're
all
both
right.
killing it. Yeah. So good stuff
That's
happening.
good stuff, man. That is good
Yeah.
stuff. And how many assistant coaches do you have?
You're looking at them.
And I thought
Yeah.
that, and I'm like, wait, no, that can't be right. So that's why I
Yeah.
said how many, because I think you got to have at least one.
Yeah, I have one of the fathers comes, his daughter's in Phoenix. He's there for all the games, but as far as practice and preparation, it's just me. So I've had
Really?
you know Monica Encinas, she's a former
Yes,
player of
of
ours.
course. Monica,
Yeah,
Rebecca, yes.
yeah, Monica comes out and helps me every now and then, so that's awesome.
That's all
Uh
right. So that's all
yeah,
right. That's a
so
good one to have come help you out.
oh absolutely.
She was a heck of a player. She's a leader. I'm
Yeah,
sure
she's
she's a great
amazing.
coach.
Yeah,
Yes, she
she's doing
is.
big things. She's an engineer now and
Oh,
graduated.
really?
So yeah, she's doing good things. So
Is she
super
working
proud
here?
of
I
Monica.
got to give her a call. I
Yeah,
got
she's
to
here in
text her.
town.
That is all right, man. And
Yeah.
you know what? As a coach, you're proud of all the accolades they get as athletes and the wins and the losses. But to see your players go on and see what they become after that
Oh
is
yeah.
where you really get your joy from.
Absolutely. I had the pleasure of coaching Monica from travel ball into high school and then at NAU. So I was able
Right,
to be a part of her journey and it was awesome. I mean,
right.
she brought a lot to me. I probably got more from her than she from me, but yeah, it's great having her.
Well, and I understand because
So
I coached her in basketball at Flag High.
yeah,
So we both had a chance for Monica to affect our lives and
yeah,
to make us better people. So
absolutely.
that's all right, Monica. That's good stuff. That's good stuff,
Yeah.
man. And we
So
just wish her the best. So what else
yeah.
we got going on here in town?
So yeah, just keep it up on softball and baseball. Flag High is now ranked number 3 in the state for baseball.
Kenny's got
Uh,
Coach Macias has him rolling.
he does, man. He's an old school coach. No playing around over there, and it shows. The Coconino's up there. If the playoffs were right now, they would make it as well. Coconino girls are undefeated still, and Flag High's right behind them. I think they're second place in the region. So those crosstown rivalry games are going to be on fire this year. They're going to be really
Yes,
good.
and they should be coming up.
Yeah,
It's nice they're always at the end of the season when hopefully there's no snow on the ground,
right.
and
Yeah,
they can play these games outside. And they don't have to go in the gym and play wiffle ball or
right.
something.
Yeah, you never know with our weather.
Hey man, and it's been crazy, but it's nice outside today, and we just wish you the best of luck this week. If I'm not in Phoenix tomorrow, I'm gonna come out and watch you. I haven't had a
Awesome.
chance to see your team play yet.
Yeah, that'd be
Um,
awesome. So,
so if I don't go with Coach Johnson to the tournament tomorrow, I'm gonna come over to Coconino and watch you, man. Because
all right, sounds good.
softball's in my heart too.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes, and softball, baseball,
So,
that's what I played. So
yeah.
we definitely want to go out there.
Yeah, as we it's probably a good time to transition into to our guest today. She used to play
Yes.
some softball at Coconino too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so she's now she's a Coconino alum and she's a member of NAU's swim and dive team. They were the WAC champions this year. Local star, Kendall Marquez.
Good morning, Kendall. How are you?
Morning, guys. I'm good. How are you?
We're
We are
doing good.
good. We are good. Just happy to have you on. Thank you for being on this morning.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah. Well, and I know that Tommy brought you out really nice there, said a lot about you, but tell us about yourself. Growing up in Flagstaff, all the sports you played, and what brought you to where you are now.
Yeah, so I grew up doing all sorts of activities and sports, along with my siblings. Like we're definitely a very competitive, active family. So I, growing up, did soccer, softball. I did dance, competitive dance, gymnastics. Gymnastics is kind of what led me into diving, which I
Okay.
started in seventh grade. So I started diving in seventh grade, which is kind of a funny story. Just one summer, I was just doing flips in the pool, and my parents were reminiscing about having diving boards at the pool and stuff. And my mom's like, "Oh, there's a club diving team here in Flagstaff," and the coach was the mother of a friend of mine, so like we knew her, and so my mom brought it up. It was like, "What do you think about trying diving?" I was like, "Why not?" And so I started diving, and rest is history.
And what was the club team? Was that the Sharks or is that a different team or
No, so it's a completely different team. It was
okay.
North Arizona Divers is the team. We practice at NAU.
Okay, okay. Awesome. Well, that's a kind of a that is a weird transition into diving, just like messing around one day and like
Yeah.
I'm really good at this and let's do it. And here
Right.
you are.
Now, because of diving and all the contortions and all the moves and the flips and all that you have to do, how did dance and gymnastics? Because it seems to me that has to intertwine in that some kind of way. How did it do it for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it got me comfortable with being able to flip and just like kind of move my body in weird ways, I guess, and also just balance as well. Jumping and stuff. So, I was used to doing flips. Like,
Right,
it's like right off the bat, I was already asking my coach, "Oh, can I do a front flip? Can I do a back flip?" Like just kind of having,
right.
that comfort level with just, being upside down and stuff like that.
Wow, that's awesome. So when did you figure out that diving was the one for you? Because you were a good softball player. Remember you hitting some dingers at Coconino and doing good and
Yeah.
when did you narrow it down and figure out this is the one?
I think it was my junior year. So it was kind of that time, in high school where you're trying to figure out what you're gonna do after you graduate, like college, where you're gonna go, what you want to study. And so I kind of brought up to my coach, I was like, "Hey, like, just wanted to get your input. Like, do you think I could do diving in college? Like, do you think I'm at that level yet? Or like could, very close to, could get to that level?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, definitely." And she was kind of, like, all over the place. She's like, "Oh, like, you could do D3, maybe D2." she's like, oh, maybe there's some D1 colleges as well and stuff. So I was like, okay, like knowing like I could have that chance. So I think I started just kind of looking at colleges. And that's also when I kind of stopped doing softball because I wanted to kind of focus on diving a little bit more, just because I knew I had that opportunity. And then my coach came up to me one time because she knew I was trying to kind of leave state because I was born and raised here. I was like, oh, I want to leave. And she's like, I know you want to leave, but what do you think about NAU? I was like, oh, and never really thought about it. I talked to my mom. Mom's like, oh, that'd be great. Like you get to travel and stuff. And so I went to my coach. I was like, you think I can make the NAU team? She's like, that's exactly what I was saying. So I just kind of spent like the last 2 years like really training hard until I got the phone call.
Well,
That's a,
congratulations. That's all right. Now, something you said a minute ago that I was like, I don't know about that. And you said being comfortable being upside down. I don't know if that's something I'll ever be able to do, but with all the things that you're doing, I mean, was there ever a fear, or was it just something as a child you just went out there with the flipping and with and yeah, you just never had any fear?
Starting off, there was no fear. Like I was so excited. I was like, I wanted to learn new stuff like all the time, constantly. But once you started kind of moving up in levels and doing harder and harder stuff, and also like having that experience of like messing up, kind of feeling that pain, knowing what that pain is and stuff, like, that fear did kind of build up a little bit. I mean, you're jumping and you're flipping, sometimes you get lost and you don't know where you are. And that's a very scary thing, even if you're in the air for a second. So just, I feel like the more I've done it, the more that fear has kind of built up, but it's also helped me strengthen like my confidence as well. So it's like it's back and forth. Like there's always that fear, but there's always that confidence in knowing I can do it as well.
And that fear you're talking about, and getting in the air and not knowing where you're at and things like that. That's what happened to the gymnasts in the Olympics last year, correct? I
Yeah.
mean, in the last Olympics. So that was gymnastics, but once again, that's how it translates over into diving because she had that same. And I don't know why her name escapes me right now, but the same thing you're talking about in swimming.
Yeah. No, it's very similar. Like I know we're the swimming and diving team, but diving we relate so much to gymnastics, just with that flipping and that coordination and stuff. Um, but yeah, sometimes you just get in those weird times where like just doing we say like we lost the dive or whatever, like just like mentally, like somehow it's
Mhm.
just you're not able to do that flip or whatever. Like you're getting lost, you don't know where you are. And it's a scary thing. Definitely like it definitely messes with your head. And
right.
it's,
So we talked before the show, we talked a little bit about the mental aspect. Um, I'm sure it's physically challenging to do these things, but yeah, tell us a little bit about the mental game and how you overcome those challenges.
yeah, so mentally, yeah, it's there's so much fear in that. There's the height, you can't really have much fear of the height, but just doing those flips and stuff. Like if you're learning something new you've never done before, you have no idea what that feels like. It's scary. But sometimes you gotta kind of trust the process that you went through, doing all those drills, all those lead ups and stuff. Um, and then also just like trusting your coach, like, you're like, all right, I'm putting my life in your hands right now. I hope, like one thing my coach always says too, she's like, I would never make you do something that I don't believe you can't do. Like she's like, we've done pretty everything that we possibly could to get you ready for this dive. Doesn't make it too much easier because anything could happen.
Yeah.
I've had, sometimes where I've done new dives and it's gone completely wrong. But it's just you gotta stick to the basics. You just gotta stick to what you know, and just try not to completely freak out because if you do kind of freak out, it will most likely go worse than what possibly would if you just kind of go into it with confidence. But it's
And
So-
how high up are you on that
Yeah.
board?
I mean, depends. Springboard, it's 1 meter and 3 meter. Platform, competition wise, it goes from 5 meter all the way up to 10 meter, which is 10 meters about 33 feet.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
And
I could probably do the 1 meter easily. Cannonball.
so to just understand this, and I guess it's common sense because I think I understand it. Springboard is the one where you jump, you hit the board, you come off.
Yeah.
Platform is when you're just standing there, toes on the edge, and you jump. Right?
Yeah. The platform is just a concrete slab that you're jumping off of, and springboard's the bouncy board.
Right. And the platform is higher.
Yeah, so
So
5 and up.
and you're talking mentally. So you have to walk up to the board, look down to where you're jumping. And if it's me, walk back, get dressed to go home. Back up real slow. I'm not turning around. Really. So I mean, to me, that's the mental aspect, but then I'm scared of heights. If you're not scared of heights, seems to be like that's 90% you have it licked right there.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not scared of heights. I've loved cliff jumping and stuff. I've done diving for quite a few years. It's not so much, I mean, there still is that height aspect, but it's just like you're flipping through the air. Like you're not just jumping. So it's like if I, go long, I'm gonna hit my face or whatever, or I go short. There still is that aspect of, on the shorter board, you're not as worried about messing up because you're like, oh, it won't hurt as much. But the height, it definitely adds a little more pain when you don't do it correctly. But I mean, even if you're totally fine just jumping off, not afraid of heights, adding those flips and stuff definitely gives you that fear back.
Yeah, definitely. So we talked a little bit about the mental game. Now let's talk a little bit about the physical gain and preparation. So in your photos I was going through, there's one where you're doing a handstand on the platform.
Uh-huh.
What's your training regimen like? Like, you guys lifting weights and what does that look like?
Yeah, so I guess kind of like our practices and stuff. So Monday through Friday, we have afternoon practice. So that's kind of where we do kind of our competition dives, like our big stuff. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, we have a morning practice, which is a little shorter than our afternoon, but that's more kind of like our warm up, wake up dive. We kind of do, the basics and stuff, jumps, like little things. Sometimes when we're closer to big competitions, we'll do some of our bigger stuff. But that's more kind of just like getting ready. And then we lift Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. And that's, focusing a lot more on, for diving, we do a lot of core and legs and stuff, just jumping, some shoulders as well. So we lift for about an hour. And then Saturday, we also practice as well, for about 2 hours. And that's kind of a mix of warm up and our big stuff as well. And then, I mean, before we get in the pool, it's a lot of, movements, getting ready. If we're doing platform, we do a lot of just like flips on like mats and stuff, handstands, all kinds of stuff, anything to kind of get our bodies moving or, ready to kind of start flipping and stuff.
So you basically go 6 days a week.
Yes.
Not basically, you go 6 days a week.
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
It's a lot, definitely.
And how many hours are you carrying?
Um, I think it's around 20 hours. Yeah, somewhere around
Wow.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's just complete dedication to your craft, and it obviously shows. How do you balance out school, your academics with your athletics?
I mean, I'll start saying it's not easy. It's not easy at all. There's, a lot of late nights. Weekends are definitely not free. But you try and take whatever time you possibly can to, do whatever schoolwork you have. We have institutional, just sending to our coaches like, hey, like, I'm gonna be gone these these days or, this week or something, but even if you're gone, you still gotta somehow make up the work one way or another.
Right.
So it's pretty much just school and diving. I have people like, oh, what's life been? What are you up to? And I'm like, school and diving. That's
Right. Yeah.
there's
Good.
not much room for much else, but hey.
Yes. So how long does the season run for your swimming and diving?
Yeah, so we're training all year long. So we are supposed to get back about a week, half a week before school starts, get together. We kind of start training right away. Our first competition or meet kind of start in October, November, and then we go all the way through till March.
Wow.
Uh,
That's a long
yeah, that's
season.
It
so
is
your
very long, definitely.
so your season just wrapped up.
Yeah, so we just finished about mid-March. We had one girl go to NCAA's, so she went all the way through March.
Wow.
But yeah, so we're just kind of like in off-season training right now.
Okay. So how did your season go for the team, for you?
It went really well. I think me personally, just I have improved so much more than I thought I ever could possibly, like just freshman year to now. Um, I probably had one of, this is probably my best season personally. Um, couldn't have been more proud of myself with how far I've come. And, our team is amazing. Like most of the time, like at our meets, like my own competition is my own team. Like I'm with some amazing girls. They're all awesome, They definitely push me to do better, work harder, and it's a great team. And everyone's amazing. I mean, mentioned before, like the one girl who made it to NCAA's. Like I can't remember the last time someone from our team has gone that far. So it was definitely a really great year.
That's good. So how does that progression work? What do you have? Do you have to have do they go on times nationally or what do they go on to determine who goes to the NCAAs and who doesn't? Is there a playoff system or
Yeah, so first you start off with zones. So you have to qualify yourself for that. So that's your score. There's kind of you have to make a certain score on each board or platform. So like if you get that score higher, you qualify for zones. And so it is a team, you're going as like your team, but it's definitely a lot more solo. Like it's not conference, like it's just you. There's no like team points or whatever. Collide points with their team. And so you make zones, you compete in zones. Then you have to, prelims, you do prelims, and you're supposed to make um, top 18. So you make out top 18, you're in the finals. Now you're in the finals, you have to make I think it was top 10. But if you qualified on another board and you make top 12, you also make it on that board as well. So yeah, you have to like, compete, make it to the top. Once you make it to the top, then you qualify for NCAA's.
hmm, that's
Wow, that's
interesting.
yeah, it's an interesting system for sure. So it being a team sport, but you're out there individually,
Mm-hmm.
performing individually. And you mentioned your teammates. How important is it to you to have that team bonding and support from your teammates to be successful?
It's definitely very important. You just having kind of, you do a good dive or whatever, just having people come up to you and like congratulate you, it's a great feeling. You can definitely you feel it, that like not just yourself knowing you're doing well, but like knowing other people can see it as well. It's definitely a great feeling. I think that's also what I love about diving. Like it's such a great community. Like it's not a lot of people do diving. It's not very big. It's not like softball, baseball, like those sports where there's so many people. So, you get close to a lot of the other teams, a lot of the other divers. And so it's not just even your own teammates that are kind of cheering you on. You're cheering on girls from other teams and they're cheering you on as well. Of course you want to win, you want to do well, but there's also a lot of that really great sportsmanship. There's that camaraderie among all the teams, even coaches. I've had coaches come up to me from other teams, congratulating me. And even just like personally being like, you've improved so much, like we see it, like, it's a great feeling. You feel like all your hard work is definitely getting you somewhere. And so, you know, even, amongst the team, like, it's not like softball, you're like, or basketball, you're constantly moving. You do your dive and you're waiting, you know. So kind of being close to your teammates or the other girls, being able to kind of talk to them and um just kind of get along. It makes the competitions a lot easier. Definitely.
So you went to Coconino,
Hmm.
but they don't have a pool.
No.
So did you have to join? Just go back by the rec center in the ditch I was talking about earlier. But did you have to join Flag High's swim team? And I'm talking for future somebody listening here right now, young
Yeah.
lady that's 8th grade wants to follow in your footsteps,
Hmm.
but there's no pool.
Yeah.
How did you go about that?
Well, I probably could have, done something, going with Flag High and stuff, just because Coconino didn't have a team. I do remember me and one other girl were trying to kind of get a team started at Coco, just because we know um, any of the other like schools and stuff, they don't have like my club coach coaches pretty much all the teams. Like all the high school teams are practicing during my club, pretty much because the girls who are diving in high school were on my club team.
Yes.
Um,
Okay.
so you just need someone who like knows how to judge or go with the team and stuff. So we were trying to kind of get a team at Coconino. Never ended up kind of following through, but I personally just kind of stayed with the club team. I mean, it's still great practice. You're still traveling. You have meets all throughout the year. Like it's once again like kind of at NAU. There's no real specific season. It's just kind of all year long. So even if I wasn't uh, diving for a high school team, I was still, getting a lot of that competition experience with, girls who are trying to go to colleges for diving. So getting a lot more of a sense of who I'd be competing with, essentially. I mean, of course, diving with a high school team would have been great. Kind of why I also did softball. I love the game and stuff, but like you wanted that kind of high school team experience.
Right, absolutely. That bonding in high school is important. And um, so getting recruited or going from high school to playing at the next level or diving at the next level, what was that process like for you? Do they have scouts that come to your meets and you send in videos, or how did you go about getting noticed by NAU?
Yeah, so it's definitely you make a video, you put together all your best dive, try and send out to any coaches. And kind of like I said before, like diving's a small community. It's very easy to kind of get around. And so one thing about diving is a lot of the club coaches are also college coaches. So that was also the case for me. My club coach is the coach at NAU. So, I did kind of have that connection there. So she knew me, she coached me, she knows my work ethic, my diving a lot more. But I mean, I also talked to a bunch of other club coaches that I've known, because they've seen me as well. But it's also a lot more like you gotta kind of reach out and stuff. You don't exactly have people coming to the meets. You might here and there, but like once again, like the most club coaches are also like the college coaches and stuff because they're themselves are trying to bring up more divers for their team
Right.
as well, so they're kind of training kids when they're young and working them up to make it to the college level.
So how are you as a swimmer?
That's actually pretty funny. So, our first meet of the season, it's we call it blue versus gold. So we split our team into two teams, and we compete against each other. And at the end, we have what we call a diver relay. So divers, we put on the caps, the goggles, we race, and I remember my freshman year was really funny because I'm used to diving straight down into a pool. I remember I dove into the water and I almost hit the bottom of the pool. I was like, I went a little too far to get out. Uh, and then this year I did backstroke and I was just splashing water in my face. I don't know how you guys do this. Um, it's definitely not where my strength lies.
You might have been playing softball in college right now.
Yeah, it's definitely it's really fun, but you definitely learn like, you're like, "Oh, swimming. Yeah, it's so easy." You're like, "No, it's really not."
And they
Yeah,
don't
no.
use swimming for you as a cardio, part of, of your cardio? Because I mean,
Not
swimming works everything.
Yeah, yeah, it does. I mean, like that, we do like little stuff where, we just for fun, just compete against each other.
Mhm.
Sometimes our coach, like before we start diving, when we first get in the pool, she's like, "Oh, go swim across the pool or whatever," and
Yeah,
then and stuff.
right. Seems like it would be a warm up, a great warm up.
Yes. We don't do it too often though, just because diving itself, we're not a cardio kind of a sport. It's a lot more like
Right,
momentary strength.
right.
But she makes sometimes our morning workouts, she makes it kind of cardio based where
Mhm.
it's a lot of easy basic stuff, but it's a lot. And it's like, you're just going, 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 running up and down stairs and stuff.
That's cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of stairs and just kind of like not having that, like you do the dive and kind of like, all right, reset, get yourself ready. It's a lot of just like go, 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 go.
So I'd imagine it's a lot of stretching, right? A lot of flexibility, trying to, bend yourself up in those positions while you're flying through the air.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stretching and rolling out and stuff. It's also just kind of to help from injuries. If you just do a bad dive, you go in the water kind of wonky. Sometimes, um, I actually kind of injured my back this year. Doing so, I entered the water weird. Did kind of went in the water kind of like a scorpion a little bit. It's not a great feeling.
Could
But
imagine.
yeah, just like, shoulders and stuff, sometimes, that water, like you're hitting it hard and fast and, any kind of anything out of place, that water can just like yank you. So just kind of being able to have that movement, just in case, anything, you can go into the water weird, there's no serious injuries. But I mean, along with, doing the dive well, getting into
Right,
that like really tight positions and stuff, definitely helps if you can get into it very easily.
right, right. So I noticed that you're in the WAC conference.
Mhm,
How come they're not? This is not a club sport, though, right? At NAU,
mhm.
it's an NCAA sanctioned sport. Why not in the Big Sky?
Um, like once again, it's a small, sport. There's not a lot, not it's not too big. So I don't think there's like enough people for that to
Gotcha.
be kind of another um conference kind of a thing. Like no.
Really? And I would think
Right.
every college would have a swim and dive team. You know, especially Big Sky, mid majors, majors. You know, just to me that would be so. So who all's in your conference?
Yeah, so it's also kind of a little different. Like, kind of, this is where kind of the swimming and diving kind of splits up a little bit.
Mhm.
There are some teams that don't have diving teams. Um, so all the teams that are in there, diving, we personally don't compete against. But
Mhm.
some of the teams we do. We have GCU, New Mexico. Um, trying to think. We have a California team, Northern Colorado, and then Iowa or
Wow.
Idaho. Idaho.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
Yeah, it does sound like, we're trying to pull together a conference in the Southwest. So, like you said, it's not a super big sport, but so when we were thinking about, guests to bring on, you definitely, you know, came to mind for me because we did want to get out of those traditional sports like softball and baseball.
Right.
We have a lot of those players, and I appreciate you coming on and educating us to your sport. Um, like Coach brought up, if there's a young person trying to get into the sport, what words advice do you have for them as they're trying to get into the dive world?
Yeah, I mean, you just gotta kind of start. First time it is easy. You're just kind of doing little stuff in there, but just kind of sticking with it. Like you're gonna have those, bad smacks. Those pains here and there, but it's only momentary. Um, you know, don't let that kind of scare you away. I know a lot of people who it just, a bad smack here and there, and they were kind of, like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. It does get better, I will say. I mean, it's scary. It's a sport where, you have to be mentally strong. So I think it's just something you gotta kind of stick with, have fun with it,
Mhm.
learn new things. Sometimes just jump off the board and do random stuff. Like it doesn't have to be, completely serious. But just I mean, you jump off the edge of a pool or go cliff jumping and do random flips here and there, might as well try diving. I mean, it's fun. I will say like injury wise, like it's not as bad as a lot of sports. Like it's not a big sport where you have to worry about injuries. Um, little soreness here and there, a bad smack or whatever, but injury wise, like body, it's not as bad as, like gymnastics. There's definitely a lot more injuries there. Um, but I mean, just kind of even just try it for, I mean, my brother did it for a little bit, just kind of, when you're starting off, it's a lot more fun, just kind of doing random stuff here and there, jumping, swimming around the pool. And yeah, I mean, don't take it too seriously, just have fun with it and see where it takes you.
And so,
Awesome.
talking to Tommy, I understand your dad was a really good athlete. Your brother is playing college baseball.
Yeah.
So you just come from an athletic family.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, growing up, I mean, since I was 2 years old, I started skiing. I've been doing stuff since like I don't know a life without sports, honestly. Like I've been doing stuff since I was very little, as long as I can remember. Same with my siblings. My sister did soccer and softball through high school. She almost did soccer in college. Like she could have, gone somewhere with
Mhm.
that, but she decided she wanted to just focus on school, go down that route. My brother, he's at Eastern Arizona. He's a PO down there. He's doing great. I got to see one of his games. He absolutely crushed it. He was amazing. So a lot of strikeouts. It was great. He's
That's
doing
awesome.
awesome. He also played football in high school and stuff as well. He tried gymnastics and diving with me. Like we've been kind of all over the place doing all kinds of sports. And yeah, I mean, it's just our family. My dad did baseball in college. We're a big baseball family. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, very active. We do all sorts of things. And I think that's also nice, like growing up, like not just focusing on one thing, but
Right.
kind of just like trying all sorts of things, see what you're good at, what you like, just getting kind of that experience. It's, I mean, I loved it. I definitely, you make friends and stuff, all those
Right.
memories.
Right.
And it's great. I'm very, very glad my parents kind of started me on that stuff pretty early.
Yeah, definitely. I actually got to coach Simone. She
Yeah.
played soccer with my son Chris, and she was by far the best player on the soccer team. Uh, and then I got to coach her in softball at Flag High. So I'm sure you two had some fierce competitions coming up.
mean, I mean, it builds, we're also siblings too, there's that constant competition between all of us.
Right.
And even softball, there's also, baseball was my brother's sport. Like that was his thing. And so, doing softball, like we'd have that competition where like, oh, I did this, oh, but I did this. But he also would help me a lot,
Right.
teach me some tricks and stuff that he knows. Same with soccer, my sister taught me like a few little things here and there, and she'd take me out and she'd have me play the goalie sometimes. Like, I don't want to be a goalie. This is terrifying. But I mean, there's a
You
lot of
must be the little sister.
Yeah, yeah. Go stand over there while I shoot some lasers
Hit
at
you with
you.
the ball.
yeah. It was I mean, but it's also nice. Like, we go out and sometimes I could go play catch with my brother or sister.
Right.
Um, but it builds that competition too. You always want to win. You
Mhm.
always want to do better, but it also helps you, getting that being able to learn from other people as well. Even if, someone you want to beat, you can still take their advice and stuff.
That's true. That's true. Well, we're going to get ready for the golden nugget question from Tommy. But before I do, this is one question I've been wanting to ask you is, you say you're a cliff, you dive off cliffs. What's the highest you've ever dive from?
So cliffs, I don't know how high, honestly, those are. But I
You
have
just walk up to a cliff and jump off.
I go out, say, all right, I could do that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Well, you know what? This has been awesome. It's very nice to meet you. And before we let you go, it's that time in the show for you to impart a little wisdom on us, which you already have. But we're going to ask you to give us a little more sugar, a little extra to it. And we do that by way of Tommy Hernandez's da 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 golden nugget question of the day. Get him, Tommy.
All right. Before we get to the question, I just want to say, Kendall, I'm so proud of you. It's been awesome seeing you and your siblings come up and do great things and become successful. Simone and Adrian and yourself, and you come from an awesome family. So, I'm glad you joined us today and educated us on your sport, and I really appreciate it. So, for the Golden Nugget question, during the times that you've failed or if you faced difficult challenges in your life, how did you find the strength and courage to persevere? How do you overcome adversity?
Yeah, I mean, starting off, I definitely struggled a lot. I was like, for a while, I was like, I'm the worst one on this team. I was like, I don't know how I got here. Was definitely down on myself a lot. Um, But I think I got pretty lucky with just finding this really good group kind of outside of diving, that I was able to kind of get into, and they helped me so much. I think I was, kind of very lucky to have that. But I mean, even if you do have people there like supporting you, they can only do so much. It's you have to kind of find your own way. You have to you gotta get over that yourself. And so I just was kind of like, any kind of there's gonna be drama on the team, and sometimes that can get to you. And I kind of just had to change my whole mindset. I was like, I'm here not because of the girls on the team. I'm here because I love what I do. I enjoy what I'm doing. And I just got to focus on me. And so I get along with the girls. We all get along, but sometimes you gotta distance yourself from, the team a little bit, kind of just focus on yourself, and do what you think is best for you. Sometimes for me when I'm competing, I can't think about diving at all, you know. So just kind of working to find those little things that help you kind of along the way. Even if like you got to try stuff, figure out what works, what doesn't, and even if that means you're gonna fail. I've had plenty of meets where I've just like worst meets of my life. Where just I wasn't proud, but found out what works for me. And so this year I've definitely going through those last 2 years of figuring out what works for me, having finding a group of people that definitely helped me mentally was helped a lot. and just, kind of figuring out little stuff and just knowing as well, like I am working hard, I am putting in that effort. And once again, just, that saying people say, trust the process, you gotta put in the work, trust the process, and just find what works for you. And knowing that failure is part of the process, it's gonna help you. It really is. Like I've failed so many times. I've been at the bottom so many times, but that's helped me learn knowing what works, what helps me, what I need. And yeah, so just once again, trust the process and, expect to fail.
That's
Awesome.
great.
Awesome.
That is,
Yeah.
man, that's one thing I've learned about this show. The young people, the young people on this show that's been on this show get it. Where some
Right.
of us old folks just can't figure it out. So for me, that's been the best part of these all these shows is people like Kendall who understands it's okay to fail. You're going to fail. It's how you react from there. And so I did everything Tommy said. I don't know you personally. I'm very happy to meet you. And just talking to you for 30 minutes, I'm proud of you. and what you're doing for this city. And what other girls may see you and want to do what you're doing and know because you've done it, it's possible. So congratulations to you. Thank you for being on the show. And I am. I'm proud of you and what you've accomplished.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it.
Well,
Absolutely. Again, thanks for joining us, and I'll catch up with you soon.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. Thanks for having me, guys.
yeah.
Absolutely.
And tell NAU's coaches you're one of the few programs that actually recruit flag staff ladies and guys. Because there's a few that have swam and dived in NAU, correct?
Yeah, so I have an alumni who was on my club team. She also went to Coconino as well. I don't think she did any sports for high school, but she went to Coconino. I have two underclassmen who are also on my club team who went to Flag High. So we definitely
Oh,
have a lot of girls from Flagstaff on our team. So it's really great to see, honestly, a lot of local girls being able to be on this college team.
absolutely. Yeah, that's great.
Well, that's all right. Well, you enjoy the rest of your Friday. Go work out. it's not Sunday. You don't get the day off.
All right.
and thank you very much for being on. Tommy, thank you for bringing her to us.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. A pleasure. I knew I wanted to learn more about this sport, and just like previous shows like Cheyenne, we learned a little bit about baton and how much work these youngsters put into their
Yes,
craft. I
yes.
mean, it takes a lot of dedication and work and for them to make it this far. So it's been awesome to learn about it.
Right. So, well, that's good. That's good. It's been a great show, Tommy, and I appreciate you stepping in and pitch hitting again, and you knocked it out the park again, man. Hit another
Yeah.
home run. I got the first base and let you do the rest.
Yeah,
so, hey, man.
we have to
Huh?
talk baseball. There was no pool on the south side, so we didn't mess around with too much water. So
River D flag.
yeah,
Don't jump off of the River D flag. See what happened
right.
to you. Well, hey,
Oh,
man. It's been a great show. It's a great Friday. The sun's shining. I'm gonna go out and enjoy this weather, man.
absolutely.
Enjoy this weather. So I'm gonna take Coach Johnson's part and let you know, everybody enjoy your day, have fun, and I don't know what you got to do from here, but you ain't got to go home. But
But you got to get out of here. Peace.
peace.